Cross Gaming, I think they are smelling some blood in the water. They've got themselves a pretty solid combination of champions. I think that Aphelios, that Viego, they're going to be able to put out a lot of damage. It could come down to those 30-minute fights that we have seen that just ended. At the same time, a pretty hefty CC chain as well. I mean, I would not want to be on the receiving end of the Galio dropping down on top of your face while the Sejuani's throwing the ice bowl out.
Yeah, and this is a very, very odd draft, at least when we look at this draft in comparison to what we've seen in the meta. It's a lot of more meatball-y style, bruisery, very pass patch-esque, where it's just one damage threat, especially for DCG. You look, it's pretty much just this Viego or not the Viego, but the Aphelios or bust. So, and then on the flip side, I don't even know where the damage is coming from.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions that we're fortunately going to get the answer to as MFT. We'll take the rip for Deep Cross Gaming here to close out our day. And it has been interesting to see how our PCS teams have adapted to the meta shifts with the durability. Some of them have chosen to just say, no. We're going to go back to spring. I think we've had some success on it. Yeah, you know, it's occasionally worked, but yeah, let's get underway and take a look at how everything's going on. I mean, we've definitely seen some throwbacks. So this is way earlier than spring. The Thresh for Issue. I'm trying to remember the last time we saw that in PCS. It must have been 2021, right?
Yeah, it's definitely been a while because we saw it with the Jinx Thresh, I think, and of course Aphelios Thresh, definitely a classic combination. But the reason why the Thresh comes out is because of the fact that there were so many support bans, right? So there were no supports left.
Drops down.
Yeah, eventually you've got to pick something, and I guess this is kind of where the comfort lies. I would have preferred something like the Leona that's able to push tempo because, again, this is a... who are you bailing out with this Thresh? That's my question.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of a fun
Everyone's going forward
with the Callista, but like, yeah, that's the thing is like if you're thrown at a lantern at some point, like things have gone a little bit wrong. But you talked about the win condition, trying to snowball lane, 665 on the level 2 Trundle gank. Oh,
he has no pillars.
Don't land. Yeah, a little early. He's gonna have to call for backup on that constable.
I mean, he burns the ghost, but ultimately Nesty still has the flash, hits level 2. And 665 without pillar, you don't have real kill threat. You kind of just run at them menacingly, which is, you know,
I mean,
you can only do so much.
It is scary, but yeah, you're able to dodge away. Deep Cross gonna go ahead and play the safe game. You can see that with that ward down, at least 665 does have eyes on Hana. A little bit of trading in the mid. Nesty finds Wen with the Winds of War. And I think Wen, pressure's going to be on to try and push in Nesty, who has been one of the weaker links of this Deep Cross chain early on in the split. Across the map, though, it's going to be a little harder to get things done.
Laning phase hasn't been as much of an issue for Nesty, but the real issue has been making plays on his champions or just trying to take 1v1s. He just doesn't do that. However, with this Galio, you know, even though I would say I'd like to see a Predator Galio, it does make sense why he does go for the phase rush, because it does get him out of the slows coming in from the Thresh and also the Trundle Pillar, and 665 just making saying hello, gives him a tough love as well.
A little bit of bite.
But, yeah.
It's like what my cat does, you know, just kind of like walks by, just nips me, and then before I even know what's happened, they're gone.
Where's my food?
Cats are weird, man. Exactly. It'd be so much easier if he could talk. Although, I feel like I'd probably never get a moment's peace. Boy. Anyways, well, that was a weird train of thought. It's late if you're joining us from North America, or early, depending on your definition. As Taco finds a nice little crunch and boulder toss combination onto Leaky, taking a little bit low on this Sejuani. Does have Grasp of the Undying, so he should be able to hang around in lane for a little while. And
Hana will be spotted out here, which is kind of big.
This is information.
Yeah, information gained always helpful, especially when you are playing the Trundle. It's all about the information gain because you have to attack lanes or you have to attack the other junglers. There's really no in between. If you're taking your own camps too often, you're in trouble. And so far, the fact that at least he's made passes into the mid lane is sort of good news, but you know, you're attacking a Gallia.
Yeah, that's not the easiest pickup. I really like this from Nesty, by the way, this Gallia pick, because I think one of the things we were worried about coming into today is like looking at the champions Nesty's played. You know, we found a win on the Corki, but not on Silas, not on Swain. It's like this is the guy that was running Enchantress supports, the only one in the PCS, really making it work. He also played like the Vygar, did the Predator build on that one. And I was kind of thinking, all right, coming into this split, you can play a little bit further back. You can have more utility. You can have more roam. I feel like things like Talia are going to be like perfect for Nesty. Maybe Twisted Fate comes in again. And instead, we've kind of seen Lissandra. Like, it feels like it's such a Nesty no-brainer. But for a few games, we really didn't get it. And the Galio is a lot more of what I was expecting to see. It's a bit defensive for him. It's tanky. It's got a good engage. It's got a semi-global ultimate.
Yep.
Yeah, it ticks all the boxes as that dragon does go down for 65.
Here they come.
Ana, the hook, they do actually manage to grab the Aphelios. Criscata is just locked up for first blood. Nicely played in trade for the dragon.
Yeah, and it's actually a stolen Gallia ultimate that was trying to be laid out rather than the actual hero's entrance. And now 665 making his way up towards this. This is trouble.
Yeah, he burns it as they try to collapse at the last second. So here's a question for you, a little philosophical question. I start.
Okay. Yep.
If a Silas steals a hero's entrance, is that a villain's entrance? Are we playing by like My Hero Academia rules or what?
Could be an anti-hero's entrance.
Ooh, okay. You know that makes more sense because Silas is kind of like the broody guy, right? He's like, I will break out of these chains.
Yeah.
And Demacia is unjust, but he's not a villain. He is definitely more of an anti-hero.
Yeah, it's interesting when you think anti-hero, just based on, you know, the combination of the two words, you would think that would mean it's like some sort of synonym for villain, but it's actually not.
I mean, they are close in a sense, right? It's just it's kind of like a fake villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely, you know, interesting, but will be both of our junglers just taking their recalls, and you can see Trundle naturally is just going to fall behind. Already 2 camps down, and I mean, eventually Hana's just going to outscale him. So again, he has to make up ground by being able to get EXP from kills, and Leaky finding a 1v1.
Yeah, Leaky definitely been impressive in this spawning matchup, but he does whiff out on
You were saying?
Prison. You know what? Sometimes the caster curse is real fast. But, like, Taco has been shoved in a bit. I mean, this is an even farm game. You have a massive range disadvantage, right? A lot of the time, as Wen goes forward and abducts Subscons, gets Winds to ward, as a Nesty just dishes way more back. And I think you're starting to see MFT kind of struggle with where to find edges in lanes. It was a good pickoff for Whale. I mean, that helps the Callista, especially because you're not going to win the scaling game against an Aphelios.
Yes.
But MFT really need to pick up the pace here if they want to not get jumped on. Good hook, but it pulls the Rakan. Not going to be able to do much to him as he walks away.
Yeah, the big thing is they need to find some way to break this game sooner rather than later, because as things continue to go on, it's just going to get worse and worse for them. Wen is running the first strike, so like he's trying to farm up gold when he can. I don't know how much gold he's actually farmed up, but into a melee matchup, and especially since Nesty isn't really looking to cast Winds of War onto Wen himself, he's being able to farm, I feel like, a decent chunk of gold. So maybe he goes for an assassin build and we get to see some champions pop. That would be really fun, but just, of course, increasing the tempo of your item build is going to be a possible win condition for MFT as well. But as things stand, it's a 600 gold differential for MFT. So surprisingly, you know, in DCG, even with all of the nice things they've been trying, are down, but Cruscata can make up for it easily, and he is the win condition for just the game. That's really it.
That's the Felios, man. Get the full 200 year status going. It's always going to work if you get the game long enough. But you do see as those plates go down, Deep Cross starting to cut into the MFT gold lead. In fact, it is bang on even, maybe a tiny bit of difference. But also you got to keep in mind that dragon. So the kill gold almost fully equalized with plates at this point.
Yep. And the better part, of course, is the fact that the gold is going into the pockets of a carry like Aphelios. So once it gets to that point in the game where all of them are just kind of dogpiling in onto you, you're in Aphelios. You turn on whatever gun you have and you just kind of run them down.
Aphelios has a lot of guns, man.
Yeah.
That guy.
Taco. In trouble
and
again.
Leaky's got a lot of CC. As he is finding Taco yet again on that one. The Gnar does evaporate. Although he will not go down in this, able to get back to safety. So far, low kill game. You know, not the lowest we had at 10 minutes. This is first blood earlier today around that time. But Leaky's going to get even more time on plates. Meanwhile, what's going down the river? Woody gets caught out by 665. But yeah, as you mentioned in the pick ban, these are two teams that are just full of bruisers just bashing at each other. Actual kills and bursts is going to be a little harder to come by. And now we're back on Drake number 2. This is going to be Cloud, as MFT are going to look to cut into Deep Cross's Dragon stacking. But Hana has no intention of letting him get away with that. Bringing Woody and Cruscata to the party, dodging out that into the quickness. And it's a nice 1-2 punch to get the kill, as Hana will claim credit for it onto 665. And Hana's going to be able to get the take of the Dragon as well. So Deep Cross get everything they want and then some. With the chase down, they will find when, and the Winds of War are going to claim another kill. Deep Cross, 2 cool ones, and the Dragon.
Oh, man. That is not what MFT were looking for. That is definitely not what they were looking for in that case. And, I mean, they couldn't pull Taco down there. He didn't have teleport, and even then, of course, you have to teleport to the turret rather than straight to the fight, so things would have looked out a lot slower, and we get to see the replay. 665 just takes so much damage from Cloud. Cloud Dragon, one of those dragons that does the most damage, and they instantly turn onto him. There's not enough follow-up. When unable to snag the Galio ultimate before the fight, I think things would have been perhaps different if he was able to get that and help out with jungler. But this is yet another one of those game script flips that you know, we know 665 to do, and it's just Trundle just didn't feel like it was the answer for this composition, because now after that failed flip, there's just really no legs for this Trundle to stand on.
Yeah, this is the weird thing, right? Like, why didn't they pick their jungle so much sooner if this was going to be an issue? But, you know, MFT, I think they've been at a little bit of a loss for answers. Deep Cross Gaming, we could very much say the same for them coming into today, but this composition, a lot clearer win condition. We know that this team understands the win conditions a little bit better. Maybe just the early start can be chalked up to the fact that they were playing against very tough opponents and they're not quite at their level. Maybe they were a little inflated due to the fact that they looked really good out the gates in spring, but fell apart in the playoffs. And Shelly charging in, that's going to finish off the plates down bottom. At least MFT do manage to get themselves back into the gold game, but losing out on dragons, just haven't been able to have an impact on this Trundle, as you said, so far behind. And you're contending with the Mythic already on Hana on this Viego, which can become a problem for you. Cruscata's going to definitely become a problem with you. And you just don't really have the pressure to match. Whale going to throw issue out with Fate's Call as 665's here looking for Leaky.
Probably
if he
wins
takes
this.
one person down, that's massive.
Oh,
here comes Woody,
Woody's
though.
Here, though.
Now they're going to even the odds, but it's a little bit too late. The red stacks get yoinked out as Whale claims another kill. MFT at least still has some teeth.
Yeah, now the claps coming in from Gnar. Do they actually go and jump onto Nessie? That's the question. The answer is no.
Doesn't look like it.
So, You know, at the very least, they do find a kill, and it does go on to Whale. So that is their mid-game win condition. And
fade
him
away
being
as well.
ahead, maybe that gives you a sign of life. So that should be shield bow completed at the very least. But on the flip side, Cryscata still already does have his Gale Force completed. Of course, not a ton of, you know, your traditional protection for him, which is why he has gone for the Gale Force to add that extra mobility. And they'll be able to answer back in the turret.
That's true. Scotty going to be able to finish the job there as well. So this is starting to come in for everybody. 15 minutes on the game clock. It's going to be a little gold advantage for Deep Cross, but pretty big tempo advantage, although Wen is waiting. But he's going to have to be careful because Cryscata has friends. Hana is here. Going to get chased away with the mini wave. They actually are threatening a dive behind tier 2 here. I think they've got it. Really nowhere for Wen to go, and Hana claims his life. And he says, you can steal ultimates? Yeah, I can steal you.
Yeah, I can steal everything else. And on the flip side, MFT, yes, they get some sort of cross-map trade, but is it worth it? I feel like it's not, because you've lost your tier 2, you're losing a lot of damage on your tier 3 tower. Maybe they even lose that tier 3 tower. In fact, it's of course red-white onto Ophelia, so he just blasts that out of existence. And that's going to be an inhib tower broken at 15.5 minutes. This is a lot of early pressure, because when you look at this MFT comp, where's the wave clear coming? How are you going to deal with super minions for the next 5 minutes?
Yeah, this is troubling right now. I mean, the inhib is still up, so they won't have to just yet. But man, if they take their foot off the gas pedal for a second, this is going to be trouble, as well as 3 seconds away from Soul Point for Deep Cross Gaming. Really starting to accelerate this game pace. I mean, you got Mythics on every side, even the Crown of the Shattered for Nestea.
Shattered Queen locked in, which means that when he comes in with the hero's entrance, as long as it doesn't get popped, he's actually going to have a lot of impact. And there's really not a ton of range on this MFT composition, so it's actually not a poor purchase. But the important thing is, of course, not getting that passive popped and then starting a team fight before it does get popped as well.
Team fights, we might be in for one here, as the dragon has been spawned.
665.
He's gonna walk around. Yeah, he knows what happened last time he was isolated in the pit.
When stealing me the Recon ultimate.
Yeah, that's
like
pretty
this.
big. Will they be able to use it to good effect, though? Dragon up for the flip. Here comes Wen around the side. Quickness used on the Deep Cross side. They do manage to find one and take down Taka before he can go into the Mega Form. But it's a big old turnabout for MFT. The double kill already comes through Cryscata. There's the bounce down for Nestea. And it's Deep Cross Gaming understanding the team fight so much better. 1, 2, 3 punch. They do not get the dragon just yet, but it's a simple matter of turning backs here.
I just don't get it. Why are we taking the Recon ultimate when we can go for the Galio? Or we can go for the Sejuani? There's just so many better options that have much larger team fight impact. And as you saw there, like, he runs in, right? But where's the damage? Your team has no damage. You have to take a damage ultimate. It is just baffling. And they just get blasted out of this fight. No shot. As we get to see when he pops the quickness, but I mean, Woody, he doesn't need to land on too many people. But look at how much damage Wen is doing. He doesn't get anything with that, and he goes in, and he's dead. So he dealt about maybe 600, 700 damage. Maybe we get to get the damage chart popped up there. I'm not sure if that will, but right now, like, DCG, they just run away with it at this point because there's not enough threat onto Cryscata. Wen's choice of ultimates have been exceptionally poor so far. And, like, the Leandries make sense, right? Because there's a bunch of bruisers. But Leandries doesn't threaten this Aphelios at all.
And that's the problem, right? Like, if you could get to the back line and you could deal the damage, that's great. But they're not building for it. They're building for, question mark. I think it's hard. Even from the pick ban, we were trying to figure out what the win condition was going to be for this team. You know, maybe it was a win snowball. Maybe it was 665 just moving around every lane. That hasn't materialized. And at this point, the only person who really has a significant gold infusion is Whale, off of a couple of good play setups, but the Callista is not going to win you a straight-up 5v5. It doesn't matter how many times you hopscotch out of danger, especially because Deep Cross just can tank through everything, and now they're going to have 3 members sieging on the mid lane. Not much MFT can do to stop that tower from falling, so it'll be number 4 for the DCG side, who are eyeballing a bit of a bounce back after a rocky week 1.
Taco also.
Looks like Leaky and Hana looking for a snack at this point. Taco on the run. Hyper, procced, Woody. Oh, tries for the knockup, but Issue's there for the save. Well, Issue has been the MVP. Get out of jail free cards so far for that Falcon team.
Yeah, the issue is, of course, he's on the Thresh, and right now they don't necessarily need to bail people out as much as like get access into the back.
Yeah, I mean the lantern's fine, but yeah, we're gonna need to see some like flash play action. If we really want to have the impact.
Yeah, Thresh isn't really the best synergy with the Callista because you don't. There's no way to get super aggressive with the Thresh, and then the Callista bails you out. You have to go for some sort of flash play, and by then you've burned a 5-minute cooldown. So it feels like it's not the most ideal way to try and play the game here.
No, I'm not really sure what MFT is going to do, but they are ramping up for something. There's Ginsu's Rage Blade completed for Whale, and yeah, I kind of feel like it's maybe the game plan is like a kind of a miracle set piece. You throw the Thresh in and hope that you can set something up with just a little bit of that soft CC for a second. Maybe the box comes down and you trap people. The problem is there's no damage. Where's the damage coming from, Nightstar?
Where is our damage? The question, I mean, the answer right now seems to be Taco, because he has the Triforce completed. I assume he's going for Black Cleaver with those item components. So that's about as much damage as you can get. And Whale, I mean, if he puts enough spears into one target, you could possibly kill one target, but unfortunately that's all his build allows you. But in the meantime, with how many spears you've put in, like Criscata with Infernum just kills everyone else.
Yeah, he's going to get bailed out by the Lantern once again. However, Nestie's around the side. Huge right now is 665 running for the hills. They will knock him, bop him. He flashes the wall, gets to safety as Wen steals away a Galio ultimate, but now in danger in their own jungle as they expend so many summoners just to get out of harm's way, and Deep Cross realize they don't need the fight. They've got priority on the tower.
Yeah, they've got priority on the tower, and they have great zone control over in this choke point. Now they can look to re-engage the fight now.
Okay, that's an R away from Taco defensive. Let's see, do they have any more resets on this one as they find
Well, that's a
Wen
good
out?
pillar.
That is going to be a good pillar to try and deny. A little bit Leaky might be caught for just a second. Here comes the Galio once again. Just knocking, bopping left and right. Leaky taking down Whale, and 665 is going to fall. Criscata coming up huge with the double kill as 665 drops. That's going to be Baron time if Deep Cross won it, but they're not done with the fight just yet. Issue's the last man standing, and that is the issue for MFT.
Man, DCG. I don't know if they're really outplaying MFT to any degree, but they're just taking these fights as free as can be. And that's, there's really nothing that MFT can do. That was the best case scenario for MFT then, where you get the perfect pillar and it zones off 3 people because it's stuck in that choke. Like, okay, this is how it kind of starts out. And when this time he is able to steal the Galio ultimate, but like, where's the follow-up damage? How do you capitalize on this Galio ultimate? You don't. No one's around.
This is a problem for a team that coming into spring were touted as having better synergy because they had stayed together, and they only made one roster change. It is a head scratcher. It is confusing. It is chaos.
Another good pillar zones off to Viego and the Philios. The Philios doesn't auto at all, and now we're into another fight.
Deep Cross going to let the dragon reset on this one. Should be able to secure it. They do. That soul
That's good.
And MFT immediately turn about face. There's not much they can do, barring a miracle of a fight. Whale taking out the lantern.
I mean,
the siege's on.
Pyro, that's just game because they can't shred. It's impossible for them to shred through mountain unless if they have like double Nexus turrets beating down on the same target, or maybe even like on everyone. Because DCG, they've got a bunch of meatballs, and then on the flip side, MFT, they have a bunch of meatballs, but meatballs don't kill other meatballs. It just kind of
that is basic physics for sure.
Yeah.
As Woody gets the double knockup onto 665, an issue. The Baron empowered minions are just putting in the work as that cannon firing from the backside. They can just take their time. Deep Cross, they've got everything going for them because this is only 25 minutes on the game clock right now. And Hana's going to force Taco to hop away. Pillar comes down. Doesn't matter. There's a big target as well. Hana actually taking a lot of damage on that one. However, let's see if the turnabout is still big right now on the Mountain Soul. Looks like MFT are going to be able to find at least one kill, but they do give up their support for it. It's a 1-for-1 trade. The siege continues.
1-for-1 is a lot better than what I expected, but they still win the game here.
Yeah, that's going to be the double charm. Whale flashing away at the last second. However, followed through by Chris Scotta. Just needed one more hit, and he managed to get it. This should be the clean-up effort. But Taco and Len are going to try to keep him at bay for a few more seconds. So, inhibitors easy and free for the taking. Deep Cross may not opt to end here because the death timers aren't that long. Issue's already back up. We'll wrap around instead and try to make it a round 3.
So try and get all 3 in hits.
The hook, teleport, Hana.
Yep.
In goes Woody. Out goes Woody. Teleport gonna complete. Oh no! Taco with the whiff! That's gonna be 3 inhibs, and they're gonna walk back in and finish the job later.
Well, easy does it. They'll snag themselves a red buff on the way out.
Look, you don't want to lose the fight and then just lose the game even though you have 3 inhibs, right? We've seen it happen before. Gotta be careful, gotta be safe. I respect it.
Yeah. We'll see if that actually happens.
MFT have 1 tower, by the way.
MFT are not going anywhere. And, I mean, you have this Ginsu's Rage Blade complete. Okay, Leaky might be going somewhere. He does have Galio ultimate to back him up.
I mean, oh.
Wow,
Yeah.
look at the damage, Pyra!
It's not there. I missed it.
Yeah,
talk about meatballs. I mean, yeah, Leaky, I think he felt very confident in his ability to not die. And for good reason. Nesty also was there to back him up. So here's that round 2. They're all rested up. They got back on Fountain, leading the super minions down the way. And now this is going to be the game-ending play as Moonlight Vigil does miss. But I don't think it's going to matter at this point as they can just keep on firing away at the turrets, looking for the reset MFT. Desperate hold. This is the last shot they have to save the game. Try to turn things around
has
here,
to
but
get
Deep
Mega.
Cross. Oh, okay, the channel of the Shield of Duran, Nesty. Zoning them up.
This game lies in the hands of Taco if they're going to make a comeback, but
They need it
it
now.
needs to go now.
And it looks like it was Deep Cross that hit the trigger instead, and that is going to be the clean-up effort. That's a lot of pinball, but at the end of the day, the Wizards are Deep Cross Gaming. Still a little bit hard to chew their food on that. They will finally finish the job onto 665, and Taco down goes the Nexus in 28 minutes. Deep Cross improved to 2-2.